Many of us understand that reading books are beneficial, but we just can't find the time and energy to read. That was me back in 2020 as I tried to pick up reading and I find myself struggling to focus and sometimes falling asleep while I read. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jay and I'm currently serving National Service in Singapore. On this channel, we explore some strategies and ways to develop ourselves so we can live more productive and fulfilled lives. Here are some tips I find useful and has helped me read more books throughout the years. So let's get started. Point number 1, stop finishing books. You don't have to finish every book you read, although this may sound counterintuitive, but this is a way to understand whether this book is providing any value to you. There's this secret belief that you should finish every book you read, but honestly, reading can get boring sometimes. So when you open up a book and if it's boring to you, you read a few pages, you get bored, you close the book, then this will lead to procrastination. Then you will not finish the book and this will continue for months. The best solution is to read another book that interests you rather than getting stuck on the book. What I do personally is, if I get bored from a book, I will just reflect and see if I gain at least 3 insights from the book. If you start to change your mindset like this, you'll find yourself reading more consistently and also gaining value from the books you read. So point number 2 is getting a Kindle. Ever since I got myself a Kindle back in 2020, I find myself reading more books consistently. I wrote a blog post about how I read more books after getting a Kindle. I will link it down in the description below. In overall, getting a Kindle can help you read more books because it lowers the barrier of reading. If you're reading a physical book, you may feel more connected because it's tangible and it's nice to just flip through the pages. But then it can get heavy and some books are quite thick, so it's quite a hassle to bring around. Books are also more prone to damages compared to a Kindle, so this might get into your head and make you read lesser books. Reading books with a Kindle can also help retain information better. I'll make a separate video about how I keep track of my highlights and also remember everything I read. Point number 3, this is probably the most important point. It is to make it a habit. So for me, whenever I commute or take the bus or the train, I will get the cue to take my Kindle out and I start reading throughout the rest of my journey. Another one of my habits is to place my Kindle on the bedside whenever I get home. So when the night falls, I will pick up the Kindle and read before I fall asleep. So this is convenient to me. It becomes a habit naturally. This routine or habit thing, is something that I learned from this book called Atomic Habits. Place the book cover here. Okay, it's probably one of the best books I've read so far, or if not the best book. I'll make a separate video talking about the book, about how it teaches you to adopt good habits and how you get rid of bad ones sometime in the future. Point number 4 is what I call active reading, which also means to read and take notes along the way. Many of us read aimlessly and also question ourselves if we learn anything from the books we read. So this is one of the reasons why people stop reading books. But active reading is a form of motivation that shows you concrete evidence that you have learned something and gained value from the books you read. I also understand some people read for entertainment, while some read for information. So this tip generally applies to people who read non-fiction books. So I will make a separate video about how I read and take notes and remember everything I read. Point number 5 is to set up a Goodreads account. Goodreads is perhaps one of the largest, if not the largest, social platform for books, where you can add friends and also look for book reviews on the books you're interested in. You can add books into different sections or categories, which they call it libraries, such as currently reading, read, or want to read. This makes reading generally kind of fun as you start to read more books and you add it into your library of finished reading books, so you can see your numbers stack up. I'll link my Goodreads profile in the description below. You can add me as a friend there. You can see all the books I've read and the reviews I've given to the books, so this gives you a rough understanding on the recommendations and you can hopefully pick some of them up. Point number 6 is to get a reading partner, or you can get a friend or a spouse to start reading with you. So I find myself finding reading more enjoyable when I read with someone, especially with a friend. So this makes reading much more enjoyable because it becomes like an activity together with a friend. So this applies to all activities such as jogging. I often jog with my friend and I find it more increasingly enjoyable if I go out and jog with my friend compared to jogging alone. You can set up a time and place with a friend, perhaps in a nice cafe, and indulge in the activity of reading while enjoying a cup of coffee. Your friend can also act as your accountability partner, where he or she can keep track of your progress of reading. It is also proven that you'll be more likely to participate in an activity with someone compared to doing it alone. So in conclusion, reading is supposed to be fun. Try to read the books that you enjoy and enjoy the books you read. So thanks for watching. I hope you find this video useful, and if you did, you can check out my previous videos about investing, which I will link it somewhere around here or here. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.